I want to start this episode with a shout out and celebration of bravery from someone in our community. And this week, I want to feature Rebecca Nesbitt from the CEO crowd. Now, Rebecca has been a guest on the podcast. She was previously on episode 12 of the Business Bravery podcast. Don't know why I'm telling you the name again. You already know it. You're listening to it. Right, we're doing well. So she was a guest on episode 12, and at that time she was working as a coach. Since then, it's like probably nearly a year later, she's transitioned her business and she runs the CEO Crowd, which is an amazing membership group. She runs free networking events. And her brave things that she has been doing, she told me she ran her first in-person event recently. Another brave thing is her transitioning from coaching to running a membership. And I also noticed that she's hired people to help her run the business as well. So she's kind of gone from being on her own to, having people who she, manages and all of that stuff too. So the reason I wanted to just highlight Rebecca is just like partly because the CEO crowd has been amazing for my business and just the people that I've met there and connected with. If you like my vibe and some of the people who I have had on the podcast and that kind of thing, you will definitely love the CEO crowd and Rebecca's vibe. And I'm also planning to have her on another episode of the podcast to talk about her transition from coaching into what she's doing now. And yeah, I'm really excited about that. So if you are interested in networking and meeting other coaches or entrepreneurs, that kind of thing, come and check out Rebecca's profile. It's at the CEO Crowd on Instagram, THECEO Crowd. No underscores or spaces or anything like that. And check her out. Like I said, she runs free networking events and things, so definitely a lot of goodness there. And her content is always really inspiring and just always connects with me on an emotional level as well. Just she manages to make people feel really seen in what we do here. So, if you would like to be featured on one of these shout outs, come and join us in the Business Bravery with Tiff Facebook group. That is the major place that I talk about these and put the word out and, put out the form and all of that stuff to be featured on these. Or you can check out my Instagram stories, but all of the good stuff is happening in the Facebook group. I'm your host, Tiffany Gilliland, an Australian business and mindset coach with 10 years experience in online marketing and the creator of the Business Bravery framework. I help coaches like you to be brave so you can stop dreaming and start doing that next big brave step and finally make more impact and get more clients. From speaking on camera to selling to launching, my approach to bravery helps you take bigger leaps without the mindset spirals. It's the secret ingredient to bigger results. In this episode, I had the pleasure of chatting with IssaMary Blanco, an internationally trained shaman, energy master, forgiveness therapist, and a leader in the movement to shift the narrative and mindset around forgiveness from difficulty to empowerment. Issa Mary has been on the shamanic path with over 10 years of plant medicine experience. She has trained under maestro shamans of and I apologize if I ruin the pronunciation here, but the Shipibo, Inca Quero, and Sangoma lineages, as well as a Hawaiian kahuna, where she trained as a forgiveness practitioner. Check out the show notes for her full bio with specific names of who she trained with. I'm sorry to admit I can't pronounce them correctly, and I did ask her, but I didn't hear back. So this is my middle ground. But yeah, just trust me, there's just some amazing expertise in the people she has learned from. And yeah, it looks amazing. So, as an energy healer, Issa Mary is qualified as and I apologize again, the Usui Reiki Master, as a Usui Reiki Master, Lighterian Reiki Master, and Quantum Healing Master. All of this amazing experience, together with her expertise as a counseling therapist, allows her to safely guide you on your journey of self-love, compassion, and connection, creating a safe space for you to let go of anything holding you back and break free from the patterns and limitations that keep you from unlocking your full potential and your endless possibilities. With that said, this is an amazing episode, and I can't wait to share with you Issa Mary's stories of business bravery, past, present, and future. Now, who's ready for some business bravery inspiration? Let's dive in. I am so excited to be here with the amazing Issa Mary. I'm very excited to talk to her about all of her bravery adventures and her experiences with the shamans and shaman training and all of this stuff that I'm so interested to find out more about. Issa Mary, thank you so much for joining us this week on the Business Bravery podcast. And tell us about yourself, your business, who you help, and what brave things you have going on in your business at the moment.
Thank you. First of all, thank you so much, Tiffany, for having me. And thank you to everyone that is tuning in and hearing this podcast today. Well, as you heard, my name is Issa Mary, so Issa Mary in English. I am a shaman and also a forgiveness therapist. And I work really is, for me, if I have to put everything in a nutshell, that is quite, difficult, but to put it in, is to really assisting people in shifting from a place of difficulty to a place of empowerment. And I do that through forgiveness and through shamanism and energy work. And that's the part of, and then when we go and it's brave in those three areas, being brave, it's a key ingredient. Being brave to face things, be brave to go through the work, be brave to show up and keep showing up and for yourself. Because it's something that you don't do for others. This is something you do for yourself. It's really a way of self-love and self-care. And it's a way of honoring yourself above anything else. And yeah, that's if it's what I do, that would be, is to really encapsulate it, is to shifting people from place of disempowerment or victimhood or difficulty, challenge, to empowerment, for them to really claim back all of their power and stand in their wholeness of what they are and everything they have to offer it.
Yeah, wow. So what's an example of that difficulty or that disempowerment that you kind of, like, where are your clients at when they start working with you? Like, what's an example of that for us? Yeah.
Yeah, so well, it's a big spectrum. So I work from individuals to corporations. So it's really a super big spectrum. The range is huge. But basically it's for the same thing. It could be that I'm working with someone in a one-on-one that is going through a divorce, and they're really in that the heart brokenness in that moment, the despair, the fear of the future, and in that place of really being wounded, and they're feeling very vulnerable in that, for that situation. And it's to help them to go through that process, but go through that process not from a place of denial and not facing, let's run away from this, let's the pink elephant in the room. That's not the approach that I have for work with people. And that's where the bravery comes, because it's, you go through the things, because by going through the things is you're actually becoming, evolving, growing, ascending, whatever word you want to, developing, that you want to use. So in that case, and it could be also from energetically, that I work in shamanism or with energy work, with someone that is find himself like stuck in a situation, is stuck in a relationship or stuck in an environment, and they just cannot find a way to get out of it. It could be either a toxic relationship or a job that you're just stuck, you don't like it, you hate it, and you just can't find yourself to actually take the move and get out of it. Also, I work with people not only with a mindset of how to shift that and find the strength within them to do it, but also the mindset to actually have, I guess, that power to actually take the step, not just stay there, to find them, to help them to find that power within them to do it, and find, again, what I always call find the gold, or hit the gold, or when you hit the jackpot, if you want to also do it, call it like that. when you realize that this that you're going through is actually showing you capacities, like things, it's giving you lessons, wisdom, it's showing you things that you sometimes didn't know you carry, that you didn't know you have. So it's super empowering, like really the work that we do, because you're like, oh wow, it's like that happens with clients. It's just like, oh my God, and I did that. And I'm like, yes, you did. And it's from that place. And again, if it's corporations, it could be from helping with assisting with the environment, that sometimes it could be a little bit toxic. There's some teams and things like that. From that place, from people working in the teams, how it is, the communication or the relationships in general, up to the energy from the company, because the company is a living entity. So it could be that the energy of the company per se as a living entity, it's not in alignment. So I have to work with the energy of that. So again, like you see, it's like a woof. But in all of them, you need to be brave to do the work. You need to be brave to step in to it. And it's one of the most rewarding journeys you ever will step in. That I can say to everyone.
Oh my gosh, yes. So many powerful things. I love the things that you're working on. It's definitely very similar to a lot of what drew me into the work that I do. And yeah, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to dive into this more with you. But I'd love to know, like, what brave things are you doing in your business at the moment?
Well, I would say in my work, I'm leading a movement and with forgiveness that is shifting the narrative from and the energetics from forgiveness, from a place of victimhood and difficulty, again, to empowerment. Because when you're working with people that has to forgive something, it's because something that it was not ideal, let's just call it the least, right? Or something that was really harmful happened to them, and they find that they need to forgive or move on from that, or forgive themselves for that. So in that place, it takes courage, because it's something, it's very embedded, that mindset of, when you say something happened, people, it's very automatic that people jump into the, oh, I'm so sorry, oh, poor you. And in this place, that is really, you're disempowering that individual by thinking that you're caring, you are disempowering this person. So it's really to shift that narrative and the energetics, and there are, and this is something that is being in this world from a long time. So it's a lot of things to shift in that. And it takes courage, because some of the people don't believe in it. And some of the people think, oh, that's not how it is. There's always been this way. And that's how it's, so they take it as a status quo kind of thing. So that I think that, and the other part is then also in shamanism, it's bravery to deal with the shadow work that you have to do with that part of, like, because there's a spectrum of everything in the energies, and there's not good or bad. I believe they're all just energies, but you have what most people will call good energies or benevolent energies, and ones that are dark or heavier or not benevolent, and you have to work with those two. And we have both, like it's an integration of both parts, because we're everything, right? And that takes courage too, not only for everyone, for the person that is going to work with, and the courage to not run away from it, and to just face it and work through it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh. So yeah, sorry, there's so many questions that I want to ask.
It's fine. Let's just, we're here. Just, yeah, tell
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, okay. So I think my first question is, with the victimhood, what do you think is it that sort of keeps us in victimhood, would you say? Or I mean, I know you're helping people to transition out of it, but what sort of, like, I mean, how do people get there from your perspective? Like,
Oh, definitely, because something really challenging happened, that you have to go through something that really, really shattered you, or really, really, it cut very deep. And then because of that, the whole process, and it started, and you feel that in a place there was unfairness. So you feel like a victim, because it's not fair what happened to me. And when we work with this, we work a lot with forgiveness. And it's with forgiveness. It's not, we're not saying that is when we work through it and we embrace what happened and we accept it, we're not condoning what happened. We're not saying, oh, it's okay that this happened to you. We're just accepting what happened and embracing it and finding the gift inside the struggle, finding how that situation actually catalyst, it was a catalyst for you to learn something different, for other people, change your path. There's so many different things that get triggered by an episode in life. So in that case, it's around that. And so victimhood is, it comes from a place of hardship.
Okay, yes, I totally get that. And yeah, it's such a hard situation. And like you were saying earlier before too, about how if you have a problem and then somebody comes in and they're like, oh, poor you, and it sort of disempowers, what kind of things could we be doing in that situation instead of saying, oh, oh, poor you, or something like that? Or is that what people need to work with you for? Is that giving the game away?
Well, again, it's the thing is that it's very embedded that because as humans, right, one of the beautiful traits that we have is compassion and empathy. So when you see someone that is hurting, it's for you, we don't like seeing people hurting, because again, that aspect of compassion and empathy that we have, a beautiful, beautiful trait. But it's not for you to not be like, oh, whatever, this person is going through that and that's their journey and they have to. But you can be there. You can hold space. You can sit with them. You can be witness to what they're processing without having this need to rescue. I need to rescue you because, oh, poor you, you're going through. You understand that no one needs that person doesn't need to be rescued. That person needs your support, yes, for you, by being there, being like we call our sacred witness. Hold space. Just, I am here with you. You're not going through this alone. It is their process, but I'm holding space for you. And that's a very, very big part, because you know that you're not alone through it. It is, yes, indeed, your process, but I'm holding a space from you without saying, oh, I'm so sorry. This is horrible. Oh my God, how could that happen to you? This is so bad. Oh, how you're going to ever come from it. And you're like, "Oh, really? That's what you're telling this person?" So you see the difference. It's like, tell me how you're feeling. And I understand that you're feeling this way. And you unpack your witness for that person, so that person can really unpack and not feel judged and really open up. And it's a beautiful, beautiful, to be in a container for someone. It's a beautiful thing. And it's, I think, well, I don't think, I'm convinced that it's a privilege. That's how I see my work. When people come to me and they unpacked all the things, for them to feel seen and heard and not judge, because it's just, I am here to hold space for you. And once we unpack, to map everything for you, so we find a way for you to move from this. And that's what I basically do, but again, from a place of absolute compassion and understanding and non-judgment. That's very, very important.
Oh wow, I can definitely feel that. And I think like it's really interesting just because like when I was growing up, like I wasn't taught to empathize with people. And it's like, oh, poor you, how are you going to get out of that or something? Like, in fact, my husband gets upset with me because I'm always like, I always want to fix it. I always want to give a solution. And it's like, oh, let's just get this sorted. Okay, let's get a plan. Let's get this fixed. And yes, I've had to learn like in personal relationships or like, and even my coaching style isn't like that. But in personal relationships, it's like, so yeah, not just jumping in and doing that, because I think that also disempowers people in the same way too, right? It's like for me, if I have
Yeah.
a problem and I want to fix it, I just get in and fix it, and yeah, or do
Yeah.
something, try and do something to change the situation. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Because we as humans, we are being conditioned not to, it's like pain is not, oh no, no, suffering is not, oh no, 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 you have to do something, fix it. I don't want to face that, because people label it as a bad feeling. Oh, it's sad. Oh, that's bad. Oh, it's feeling, so, oh, this is a bad feeling. Oh, no, no, no. We have to take you out of that feeling, because that feeling is not okay. If you're happy, it's fine. You can stay happy. But if you're sad, oh no, no, do not, what can we do? So she's not there. Oh no, we have to fix this. It's like, there is, again, is what I said at the beginning. they're not bad or wrong feelings. They're all just feelings, right? We are the ones that are labeling with good or bad or high and low or whatever it is. And one of the things that came up to my mind when you were sharing that, I study mindfulness, and I was in a study with, I was in a Buddhist temple, and it was with this beautiful, beautiful monk. And I remembered we have to do a lot of contemplation and meditation and things like this. And one day I asked him, and I said, it's just so hard to witness so much suffering. It is really so hard to just to bear it, to do it gets. And when you're with someone, and I'm working, and that was many years ago, and I remembered what he told me, and he said, who do you think you are? And I'm like, what do you mean? Who do you think you are to take away that lesson from that person? And that hit me like a brick in my head. It's like, oh my God. I said, and then he elaborated more, and he said, you are denying by the moment that you jump in, it's like, oh, I'm going to fix it. Because, and again, who are you to decide if you can fix it or not? So you are taking away a lesson, something that that person was meant to learn, a lesson, wisdom, however you want to call it, capacities, knowledge from that situation. And by the time that you jump in and just like, oh, we're making it, you are taking away that possibility from this person. It doesn't mean that you don't care and you're just like, oh, whatever. By all means, it's not like that. It is, I am here for you. I hear you, I see you. Again, I'm your secret witness. I'm holding space for you. And I feel, and we can talk, but I'm not trying to fix you. It's a different thing. And I invite people to really feel into this, not only think it, but really feel into it. What do we know? Or is that you think you know better? How come? Who do you think you are? And then I was back and forward with him. And in some point he told me, so you think you're God then? And I was like, no. And then it was like, well, then, because it was really challenging. We were like in a back and forward, and it changed my perspective forever. It absolutely did. And I think it's a good example to try to grasp that concept that I'm talking about.
Yeah. Oh, that's so powerful. And yeah, something, I don't know, something I'm just really glad that you reminded me of. I think I could definitely do some more work on that. And I mean, I had to come to similar realizations for me in my business, like with coaching clients, I'd really want them, or even like my marketing services when I did that, want my clients to do really well. And I just like I kind of crossed the line and do too much for them. And so then it didn't allow them to take that responsibility for their side and learn those skills and everything. And it's, yeah, just because I could see the vision, but for them, that wasn't part of what they wanted to do. And yeah, I've even got a client who's having a similar issue with her coaching clients where she's like jumping in and trying to like do, you know, business plans for them and things and like not letting them take responsibility. And yeah, I just think this is such a
Yeah.
powerful thing, and I appreciate the reminder.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah.
Okay, so something I've been really interested to ask you about and is your experiences with shamanism. Is that the right way to express it? Sorry, I'm such a noob.
Perfect.
And yeah, your training, shamanistic training, is that right? Or tell me, how did you get into that? What was it like? Yeah, why? But results, everything, please.
Everything.
Yeah, but in 5 minutes
Um,
left. No,
yeah, exactly. You
just
have
kidding.
1 minute. Okay, six
Yes.
seconds. Go. I know. So I think everything started for me with plants, right? With really working with the medicine of the plants. As since I was a very small kid, I had this really curiosity and about the plant kingdom and also with energy. So for me to being able to feel energies and to really what I call now, and I know what it is, that is the seen, the unseen, seeing all that realm that is not visible with this physical eyes that we have, but it's possible to see when you tap into a different consciousness or a different layer. So it was really very present since I was a small kid, but I didn't know what it was until later in my life that I started training and I started studying. And it came out as just kind of basically almost like landed on my lap. I think that you don't, and I'm convinced that you don't find the teacher find, and when the time is right, it just comes up and show up and present to you. And it was really like that in my life. It started with energy for me, energy work. I started, the first thing ever I did, it was not in shamanism, but it was with Reiki. And I started working with energy and what I could see how to really shift energies and all the things. Then that put me in attunement to really get more aligned, to have more that seeing the unseen, to really have this veil that we carry, because we all have the capacity to do it. It's just we carry this veil. So to started removing that veil, and that brought me then even more deeper into plant medicine. In this case, not just only as I was doing it as a kid, that I was doing like cough remedies and creams for this and little things like here and there for do this mix for tummy aches and little things that I was doing, but to really work with plants and then different lineages, for example, with Jipibos or with the Inca Queros or with the Sangomas in South Africa, to really get in touch with plants and the medicine and the spirit that the plant have. And that's when it really opened up like big time for me, like super, super big time. And it was like how I describe it to one of my maestros is I remember it still. And I said, I feel I am in a roller coaster and they forgot to put the safety bar on it. This is just insane. And he said, yeah, I know. But it gets better. And I'm like, okay, because it was a lot very fast. It happened to me. I think it because I delayed my calling for a long time because I was, when you talk about bravery, for the fear of judgment, I think I was, like to call it, in the closet in a way for a long time, because I didn't want to be judged, because when I would open up a little bit, people would see me like if I was from a different, not that's just not a different planet, a different parallel universe. And there was so much judgment and things coming through. I was like, oh my God, wow. And that made me not to step into the fullness of my being and the fullness of my gifts and the things that I have to offer to the world. So it was just a combination of things. And it started, and again, shamanism first was training, like training different lineages. I've been initiated in the Sangomas in South Africa. By the time I've spent 4.5, almost 5 years, more than 4.5, living in South Africa. I trained there. I also trained in Peru, was also the Inca, the Queros, the ones that are in the mountains, and Machu Picchu, this area that's very well known for people. And then the Chipillos, the ones that live by the Amazon in Peru. So there's all these different lineages that I am carrying, and I'm very, very, very proud to carry them today. And I just have a step in that place of, this is who I am, and whoever doesn't understand that, it's fine, because that means that they're not called to be with me or work with me or even be in my energetic space or my space. They're not my people, and that's fine.
Oh my gosh. So just if you don't mind me asking, and I apologize like if I missed it when you were talking, but you said in the beginning it felt like too much. Like what was it that you were learning that felt like it was too much in the beginning of it? Like, yeah, and again, I apologize if I missed it while you were talking.
No.
Yeah. So
Yeah, of course, of course. No, I didn't explain actually why it was too much. So basically for me, it was a channel. I'm a medium, so I channel when I'm working. So once, let's just say that my antenna, the radio station was opened, all the radio stations start playing at the same time. And I was like, oh my God, this is like a lot. Can we just do one station at a time? Because this is just too much input. And I didn't know how to handle all the input that I was receiving from, again, from hearing, seeing. I was like a radio station. I was like an antenna, and it was always like picking up everything. I said, oh yeah, this is a lot for me to handle. And I just need to learn how to handle it, and I need to learn how to, yeah, put boundaries, also energetic boundaries, because yes, I am a receptor, I am a medium, but I am not this, and this is when I'm doing it. It's not always, it's just now is the time, now I will do it. And then when it's there is we're off air, kind of like that. But I needed to learn that, and also learn to, with energies, what I was saying before, when you work with energies, you work with all of them. We can use the labels, the good ones and the bad ones, the benevolence and the malevolence. It's just, they're all there. So to being able to handle and being, but in my absolutely power, to when I have to deal with energies that were not as benevolent or some, it was also like, I have to do all of this. Oh my God, wow, that's like, whew. So, but again, it's a process and it's a muscle. It's a muscle. You use it and you get used to it. And then you practice, make the master. You have all this, again, now I have all this knowledge and I have all this wisdom that I, from the past, 18, 19 years, that I'm in a place that I can be a container and stay in my ground and stay in my place and just bear and be again a container for whatever might show up.
Yeah. So with all of the energies that you're working with and all that, is that similar to like different people have the approaches to energies like, anger resonates lower energy and joy resonates higher energy? Is that what you're talking about? Or is it something different when coming at from shamanistic point of view?
No, yeah. It's you can also talk as it's a resonance. You can say it like that. There's energies that have also emotions that have a higher frequency than others. And that's why also it's so important. I always tell my clients, and I'm telling now everyone that is hearing this, it's very important for you to have your vibration high, because energy matches energy. So when you're in a higher vibration, you are radiating this field of energy, right? And again, going back to the same radio station analogy, you are going to tune in to those same frequency. The other stations you will not pick up because you're in a different waveband. It's the same with energy. So when you keep your energy in a higher vibration, then you are attuned to these energies and not into the ones that have a lower vibrational field. Like you said, like fear, anger, resentment. There's so many. They're not bad. They just have different vibrations. And it's more helpful for you to be resonating in this place than in this. Not that it just lifts you up and it's not taking you down. It actually lifts you and assists you when you are in a higher vibration than in a lower one.
Yeah. It's definitely just because other people's work on that side of energy is stuff that I'm familiar with to a certain extent, still very new to energetic work. But do you find like you still dip low? Like, I mean, there's sometimes stuff comes up and it's like I don't even realize, and I'm like, oh man, I'm in those lower energy vibrations. But it's like if I make myself feel bad about it, then I stay in that lower energy vibration. Yeah. So is that still natural, or does it get to a point where, I mean, like, or is that the whole toxic positivity thing? I don't know. I'm just was wondering, yeah, what's your
Yeah,
experience with
it
that? Sorry.
is.
Yeah.
There is a lot of that toxic positivity. Like you said, feelings are meant to be felt. They are not bad feelings. They're just all feelings. They're everything. It's you are the one that give it a label and attach a meaning to that label, right? You know how it feels, so you can have discernment to have this feels contractive and this feel expansive. That you can do whatever the label, right? What I would invite people is to what you said, and you're doing it absolutely right, is do not run from the feeling. Do not like, oh no, it's just the elephant in the room. Is let it go through you. Emotions are energy in motion. That means energy is meant to move, not get stuck. That's why I said contraction or expansive. When you contract, the energy gets locked in your physical, like physically, it locks energetically. So it's meant to move. So if you're angry, allow your anger, like, oh, I'm feeling what I'm feeling angry. Okay, what are you feeling this way? what triggered that? And I'm feeling, is it yours? Is it something that I happened, or is something that I in the street, or something I saw or heard that, and just bear there, be a witness for yourself. Just sit there and say, yeah, this happened. And oh my God, that really pissed me off. I'm like, woo, I'm very angry. And I'm like, okay. And if you're angry and you need to just freak scream, and I was like, oh, you cannot. And I tell my clients, I said, there's different techniques that you can use. So just to let that emotions, energy move through you. So you can, movement is a wonderful thing. You can go for a run. You can just, there's another one that you just stand and you jump, like doing this with your arms like this. You can do that. You can take a pillow and scream your lungs out in a pillow. There's things that you can do energetically. I always recommend people go find water. It's an amazing element. Cleanse and release, things like that. I sometimes said, I'd say to my kids, where they're very, very angry, I tell them just like breathe. And then I said, go to the bathroom and just like, if they're very, very angry, I'll tell them, go for a shower. Just go have a shower, calm down in the water, and then you'll come out and we talk about it. Because it's an element that's an energetic, and I work with the elements because of shamanism, that it's just to help you and assist you in the process, but do not refuse any feelings. Just let them move through you. Remember, emotions are energy and motion, and energy is meant to move, not to stay stagnant.
Mm. Oh my gosh, I love that. And I always appreciate that input and things like that, because it makes sense to me when I'm hearing it, but then when I'm in the middle of the emotion, I still have old habits sometimes of, oh, and so yes, I appreciate that. And that's an amazing thing about water being powerful and that kind of thing. Like, definitely at times thought of, oh, get in the shower, clear your mind, clear your head. But yeah, as a thing for anger, although I guess I spent the better part of my life kind of putting off, like, or, trying to avoid feeling anger. So yeah, just that's really powerful what you said.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so I'd love to travel back to when you started your coaching, although I think you've been on this journey for quite some time with everything that you're doing. Look, I'm not sure if you want to go all the way back to the beginning or perhaps in its current form. What brave things did you have to do to get started in what you're doing?
I needed to embrace everything that I do, regardless of what people was going to say about me, regardless of being judged, mocked, even people making fun of me because saying that, and look at me like, really, like if I just lost my marbles. And to not care about that, even when it was coming from people that I carried deeply and close to my heart. That was really, really hard to face that when it's someone that you loved. It was not easy, and I needed to be brave to say, this is bigger than me. This is not about me.
Yeah.
I am here to assist people. And it's not me. I'm a vessel to work and assist people and facilitate this transition, this work, this journey for others. So I cannot not do it. I cannot. It's impossible not to do it. You have to step into this, and you have to step with both of your feet and really embrace it. And that was it took a lot of bravery, because I have to walk away from relationships that I carried very, very close and dear to my heart, and I needed to walk away from it because they were just not accepting of what I was doing or what I believe or anything like that. And the other part of bravery, I remember when I was with plant medicine, I remember working with Mother Ayahuasca. And so with her, and she's asking me, like, saying, like, if you she was calling me to do this work as a shaman. And I remember I was saying, like, oh, I have to think about it. I don't know if I don't know, because it was a commitment for me to say yes. And I remember telling her, I said, I need to think about it. I'll come back again, because I was in a retreat, so we were doing it every day. I'll come back and I will think about it, and I will tell you next time. And I remember talking with a maestro, with a shaman that was holding this beautiful retreat that then he became my teacher. And she said, you have to remember that if you step in, you step in with both feet. And once you have seen, you can never unseen. It's like, okay. And I went back the next in that ceremony, and I was again with Madrecita Ayahuasca. And so it was like, okay, so what it is? And I say, I'm stepping in. And she asked me with both feet, you cannot be with one in and one out. And I said, I'm stepping in fully with both feet. And she was like, okay. And then everything, that's when the roller coaster, I tell you, it was just like it came like really like, because I said, how I'm going to do this? I don't know where I have to start. And she was like, don't worry, everything will fall in place for you. If you're saying yes, everything will follow. And it followed very fast, like do, 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 do. Enough for me to integrate all the trainings and the things that I was doing, because I did a lot of trainings. Like it will just come in like this one now, and now that, and now this. So that was also, it took bravery, yeah, and trust. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was the training that was falling into line and going and yeah.
A lot of different ones. Yeah. A lot of trainings. It was like full on training. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, a lot.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, just because from my experience, like just with me stepping into the bravery thing after like, and I mean, I know it's not the same as what you went through, but it's just like becoming more myself, stepping into bravery, talking to people about bravery, and then actually having to be brave and more brave myself every day. That it's just like things have been falling into place for me in terms of my business and that kind of thing. And yeah, and I was just wondering, like, how did that go for you, like in terms of your business and that kind of thing for you? Yeah.
Yeah. You
Hmm.
know, when you're bravery, it's a beautiful thing because bravery it puts you in resonance with your true self, with your most authentic self.
Yeah.
And when you are in alignment with your soul and your heart, things just follow in place because you are in such a, and again, in such an alignment that things are just, they work. Like you said,
Yeah.
things just happen with my business because
Mm.
you are being brave enough to be
Yeah.
full embracing and full in full alignment with what your heart and soul are telling you. There is no here and there. No, this is it. This is the line and this is my truth. And I'm stepping into this truth with everything that I am. And then that alignment goes to everything. And if we go back into energy, you are in this frequency of absolute, in that resonance, things will just flow. There is no other way but that one.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's definitely what I have been experiencing so far with my business, like things falling in place and even just like people willing to talk to me and connections that I've made, people messaging me and saying, "Oh, you've inspired me to be brave ever since I met you." And even though those aren't even people who are working with me, and then the people who work with me, that's like a whole other level. So yeah, oh my gosh, it's just that's definitely what I have experienced. And yeah, so it's interesting and to hear how you had something similar, although probably not quite the same as like yeah, not trying to say anything's better or worse, but just
Yeah,
yeah,
no.
mine's I guess
Mhm.
in a bit more in the material world rather than those mental, it's still mental shifts, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And we're all different. And again, there is no right or wrong. There is just different journeys. That's it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh, I love that. So, what brave things do you have coming up? Do you have plans for your business and changes that you're making or anything like that?
Yeah, I have, as I said before, forgiveness is really one of the cornerstones of my work. And I offered a container that is called Soul Renewal. And that's is a transformational journey, shamanic transformational journey with me. And it's a container that I do online for people anywhere in the world that they would like to join in. And it's not only for people, like I said, it's not only, oh, if you have to forgive something that I joined the program. It's more from if you want to shift from that place of being stuck, not able to move from the past, that or that difficulty, challenge, into a place of you are empowered and you claim all your power back and you stand tall in who you are. And that's where this journey is about. And we work not only with mindset, but we work with, that's what it's a shamanic journey, because we work also with energetics. And it's a beautiful container. It takes 3 weeks with me. And I do that container every 4 months. And I have the next one coming by the end, like in April, I have another one coming.
Wow. Nice. 3 weeks. Wow. Is that doing things with you every day, or is that just that how powerful what you do is? Like how does that work? 3 weeks.
Yeah, of course, of course. So it's a 3 weeks journey. You have a portal. So you go in and you have every week you're gonna have different, like it's a journey. So there's things that we have to go through together. And once per week we get in a call, in a live call like we are now. And then
Yeah.
we exchange things, we get how things are going. There's also a private chat group and Telegram that I have with people. So I can offer it also support to people if they have questions or things are coming through. But once per week, we sit in a call, and also we do ceremonies together.
Oh,
So one thing is the mind with those calls, and the other part is the energetic part that we also sit in together and we do together to work with shamanic ceremonies, the different things with fire ceremonies, and there's cacao ceremonies, and there's other different things that we tap into it that we do also together over the course of 3 weeks. Because it's a full circle. It's really forgiveness to say, oh, and I will in one session and I'm done. And I said, no, it's not quite like that, because it's really a journey. It's what I was being saying, highlighting the whole time that we've been talking. It's a journey that it brings you back to you, but you as a whole, and you embracing everything, all your story, everything that happened.
mm,
So there is
yeah.
integration that has to happen for that.
Yeah. And so is the work of forgiveness through that program, is it must, I'm guessing, forgiving yourself, forgiving other people, things along healing stuff along your journey, the things that have
Yeah.
caused, is that, oh wow,
Yeah,
okay.
exactly. So again, it might be sometimes I have clients, I don't have to, it's not about forgetting someone else, it's about self-forgiveness. It's I need to forgive myself because I put myself in that situation, because I allow that to happen, because of many different narratives that can be present. But it has to do with self, because forgiveness, that's one of the things that I talk about too. There are several misconceptions with forgiveness. And one of them is that the people, when you said forgiveness, they think about it's an outside thing and their fingers go to the outside. Is I have to forgive that person because they did that to me. And I have this situation and that, and it's always to the outside. And when we are in my soul renewal, or when I want one-on-one with clients, it's let's just bring that finger also. What role you play? What was your
Yeah.
part in that? And
Yeah.
that takes also when we do that, when we put also the fingers, because it's a two-way street, it takes two to tango, right? So then that's the part that also brings self. So it's for everything. It could be for something external, but also for something that it's absolutely only related to yourself.
Yeah, yeah. I have to say my own experiences, it's been the hardest to forgive myself in situations. And for some of my past stuff, it's like I was a different person back then. I didn't know what I know now, but then I still sometimes find myself judging things that I did in the past. Like, I let somebody treat me poorly and I didn't stick up for myself and things like that, because at that time I was a different person and I had lower self-esteem. And whereas
Yeah.
now and then I find myself judging my past self, and it's like a real effort to forgive myself for those things, because it's not who I am now, and I would act completely differently in those situations, but I can't go back and change it. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, you're the perfect person for to be in my in my
No.
container to I'm going to tell you something to you, but for whoever is hearing that it's find themselves in that situation, because that's very human, what you're saying, what you're sharing with me. I was physically abused when I was in my late teens. And it was work. And I'm so grateful that I'm a forgiveness practitioner, because I could work through all of that, right? from a place of, I understand what you're saying. How did I allow that to happen? Like, how did I allow someone to, because it was like started with treating me bad and then hitting me. There was like a set of episodes and things that were paving the path for that episode, right? To being abused physically. So then the first thing is I really remind myself of what you just said. That's a very beautiful thing you're doing, bring compassion, and said, I didn't know back then when I was 18 what I know now. So how can I expect my younger self, that 18 beautiful girl, woman, to behave in the way that I would do today with 47? That's absolutely unfair because I didn't have the tools or the knowledge that I have today. So I just like, and giving that, and I just cut yourself some slack in that way, just because you didn't really. And the other part that I also invite you to incorporate and to introduce is, and I did that with myself and I do it with all my clients, is that situation shape things in yourself. That situation, that moment when I was abused, and all that, every step that was paving the path, that it closed the circle with the abuse, it was preparing me for being the therapist, the forgiveness therapist that I am today. Because when I'm with a client and the client was physically abused or sexually abused or whatever abuse that you want involved, right? They come to me, I can relate from a place of my heart. It's not the training that I did when I studied counseling or when I studied coaching. It's not the mental thing. I do have the training, I do have the tools mentally to assist these people, but I can sit from a place and connect from my heart with them, because I might not know what they are feeling because we're different individuals, but I know how I felt when that happened to me.
Yeah.
So it gave me so much resilience, so much strength. It guided me to do the work that I do today. So I'm actually grateful for that version of myself that endured that moment and that series of moment, because it was a journey to get to that final closure of the abuse, because she was paving that was necessary, and she was enduring that so I could be the woman that I today. And I can have the boundaries that I have today, and can have the strength and the resilience and the compassion and so many other qualities that I can use today because of her. So I am so incredibly grateful for her. It's when we're able to tap from that, that's when we really did the first circle in forgiveness, because I love her and I'm grateful. I get emotional, but I'm grateful for her because she's incredible. She's truly incredible. I am nothing but proud of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is so powerful. And I mean, yeah, for me and my story is kind of like, if I hadn't gone through that, I might not have taken the same steps that would have led me to my now husband and things like that. So yeah, it's just
You see, it's a beautiful exercise, because it's that, and when I quit clients, I always use this analogy, and I love it. It's like when we're going to hardship in life, it's like if you're walking in the path and it start raining cats and dogs, it's like the worst storm ever. And you're in the middle of it and you're like, oh my God, it's really horrible storm, but you're walking and just keep moving and you fall down and you stay there, and then you somehow manage to stand up. Life, right? Being difficult.
yeah,
When you get out of that, because the storm will pass, nothing is forever. Your sadness is not forever. Your anger is not forever. Your rage is not forever. It's an emotion and it's temporary. So once that it's not there anymore, I always tell them, so look down. We do it shamanically. We do an energetic journey, and I take them through this journey. And I said, what you're holding is your gift. There is always a gift. Once you get out of the storm, look in your hands. What are you holding? I am holding that love, that compassion, that bravery, that empathy, that what led me to study counseling, coaching, forgiveness, that all of that. And it's like, I'm like, whoa, my God, this is the biggest gift ever. And find that gift. There is a gift inside the struggle. There's always a gift. We might have to dig and really be brave enough to look in and unpack that, because most of the people just wrap it and put it in the last corner. I'm never going to have to look at that. I want is denial. It doesn't exist. Pink elephant in the room. But when you open it, you find the most beautiful gifts for you.
Oh my gosh, I love that. That is so powerful. This has been such an amazing conversation. Thank you so much for
You're welcome.
everything you have shared. And oh man, certainly some amazing shifts in perspective for me today as well, or just reminders of ways that I can approach things. So thank you so much.
Oh, you're
And
welcome.
we will, of course, have all the links to all of your stuff in the show notes. But for people who are like me, who are like, I don't want to look for show notes, I'm just going to go to Instagram or the internet, where can people find you?
Yes, of course. Well, you can find my website is my name, IssaMaryBlanco.com. Issa Mary is Issa with two S's of sun, like the sun, and Mary as Mother Mary. So IssaMary.Blanco.com. And my Instagram handle is IssaMaryBlanco.com too. And Facebook is the same, IssaMaryBlanco.com. And you can reach me either Instagram or Facebook or through my website. Just put my name, or just Google my name, Issa Mary Blanco, and then you'll have all of that, my books and everything, everything that is out there you can find when you Google my name.
Thank you so much, Issa Mary. It has been amazing talking with you, and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you again for the invitation, and thank you to everyone for tuning in and joining us today.
Thanks for listening to the Business Bravery podcast. Has this episode inspired you to do something brave? Even if it's only send a difficult email, please share it with me on Instagram or other social media channels. Feel free to tag me at Tiffany G Studios. That's TIFFANY. G for golf, STUDIOS, no spaces, no underscores, etc. Or you can use the hashtag Business Bravery Podcast so that I can cheer you on, and together we can inspire other coaches and course creators to do brave things in their business and life. Now, I'm Tiffany, and I'll leave you with this one last thing. What's one brave thing you're going to do today? It doesn't have to be big. Even the smallest steps can create the most massive results. So again, feel free to share it with me either publicly or privately so that I can cheer you on. That's it from me. Until next time, bye for now.